Welcome to Massive Late Fee. And now your hosts, Mark and Carol.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Massive Late Fee. My name is Mark. With me as always is my wife, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is June 18th, 1999.
It is.
It's hot.
Yeah, we're going to make this short because our recording space is very warm today.
It tends to overheat in here, which is good for the electronic equipment.
Right.
And, yeah, so I have no news today. I had no energy to... We're at the beach, you know. We're at the beach hanging out and playing Nintendo 64.
God, I wish it was true that we were at the beach.
We're not at the beach right now. I'll play seagull sounds in the back.
Oh, I want to get one of those machines that makes the sounds.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Yep. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah.
No, they have machines that make like beach sounds.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
I know they have tapes and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a machine and you hit a button and it plays like there's forest sounds, there's whale sounds, there's like...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Every time you say button, I think you remind me of Brittany Murphy from Clueless.
The fuck?
Button. Say it again. You hit a button? Like how she talks in Clueless, Brittany Murphy, you know?
Button?
Yeah. Yes. You sound like Brittany Murphy in Clueless sometimes.
Okay.
But we didn't watch Clueless.
No.
We've seen Clueless, but
We watched our first, I believe, ever foreign film.
yes, a German movie
With subtitles.
named Run, Lola, Run. Yes, it was all in German.
Yeah.
And with English subtitles. Subs, not dubs, everyone. I like subtitles, not dubbing.
How did you enjoy that? Because I know that you've learned a bit of German. Did you understand some of what was being said?
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty
some
cool.
of it was like, it's so funny because some of the I didn't understand everything, obviously, and they speak so fast. Like, that's the big thing with me. I don't know the language well enough to keep up with them. If someone was speaking very slowly to me like I was a kid, I could do it. But when they're talking so fast, it's like I lose it a lot. But there were some things that I knew, and I read the subtitles, and I was like, "That's not the." They change it so it makes sense for English audiences,
Sure.
But it's not like the literal translation of what they said.
Well, yeah, because I mean, there's a lot of like slang in like our language that probably wouldn't make sense translated into another language.
That's true too.
Like up yours.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
If they literally translated up yours, I'm sure that wouldn't make sense. But you know, if you were like whatever, fuck you or whatever.
Yeah. Right. Oh my goodness. But yeah, this movie gave me whiplash in a way, because the movie we did the week before was Austin Powers.
Yeah.
And like we went from Austin Powers to this. Mm-hmm. Very, very different films. This movie, Run, Lola, Run, if you haven't seen it, and it's one of those ones where it's entirely possible you haven't seen it.
Right.
I would suggest, looking for it at your local theater or whatever, your art house theater. It's available. Trust me. If you look for it, you can find it. And I would suggest watching it before listening to our review. I liked it quite a bit. A lot
of spoilers.
I liked it quite a bit. I thought it was very good. It's a different kind of movie. It feels almost experimental in a lot of ways. But the basic plot of it is Lola is dating Manny, who is a criminal. He's in the criminal underground or whatever. And he has misplaced $100,000.
I mean, misplaced is a bit, I don't know, not specific enough, because he certainly knows where he left it.
Right. He left it on a subway. I don't know what they call it in Germany. Yeah. I think it's just the underground or whatever in Germany. But he left it there, and a bum has stolen it. which he knows that the bum that was sitting next to him, who he helped up, by the way, took the money. So he is. This is money from like some drug dealer or whatever that his like.
He's supposed to take to his boss.
Yeah, his boss, his criminal boss, is like going to kill him now over this.
Well, Lola was supposed to meet him, so he wasn't supposed to have to be on the underground or whatever.
That's true. He does. He does quite vociferously try to make this her fault.
I mean, it kind of is her fault.
He holds back though. He's not like "fuck you," or he's like,
No.
"Where were you? Where were you?"
Yeah, I'm going to die now.
Right.
I mean, it would be pretty upsetting.
Yeah.
I can see being mad.
No, I agree too. But yeah, so the movie it's just about a little over 80 minutes long. And I think that works very well for this movie. If it was longer, I think maybe it loses it. If they tried to do what they do in this movie, but make each section a little bit more, so it was like so basically the conceit of the movie is she has to go and try to figure out how to help him.
She has 20 minutes to get to him, to stop him before he's going to go rob a bank.
Or
a grocery store.
Supermarket,
Yeah.
So she's trying to stop him from doing that. And like Carol said, it's 20-minute intervals. She does it 3 times. Because the first time she dies, the second time he dies, and then the third time is the quote-unquote happy ending or whatever. But if they had said like, "Oh, you have 30 minutes," so it was like like a regular like runtime or whatever of a movie with the added like the denouement and the little like setup at the beginning, making it closer to like 2 hours. I think it's too long.
Yeah.
I think the movie being this length helps it hold up.
It's a very busy 80 minutes. I mean, there's just
Very busy.
consistently just urgency and things going on, and it needs that. It needs that feeling of panic. That's part of the experience of the movie.
Yeah, agreed. I was trying to do something. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
There's a German expression that I learned, but because we were talking about Germany, but I can't remember exactly how it goes. But it was something like "sie hut," I don't know, something. But it translates to she has a lot of wood on her front porch or whatever, and it means it's a slang for a woman with large breasts. So I was going to say it to you.
Thank you.
Since it fits, but
Danke.
There you go. Very good. But so you don't know watching the movie as we go through the first time that she's going to die,
right?
And that we're just going to go back again. So it's kind of surprising when she gets killed by the police because he ends up in the first iteration. She gets there too late, and he ends up robbing the supermarket. But the police show up, and they're both caught. And then he throws the bag of money, and the guy shoots on it. One of the cops shoots on accident.
Because he's startled,
and he kills her.
You should not have your finger on the trigger so that you can be startled into shooting somebody. Just saying. I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, come on, German police. That's the first time anyone German with a gun has done anything rash. Anyway, so yeah, it's quite surprising, and then we kind of go into this like dream-like realm where they're talking about, hey, what would you do if I died? Mm-hmm. And then everything rewinds, kind of not like a weird like woo rewinding thing, but like we just kind of like go in her eyes and everything, like it just like kind of smash cuts to her throwing the phone down and starting everything over again. But now something's different.
Yeah, and I didn't understand right away that she didn't know all the things from the first run. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that makes it different. Like, I'm like, why is she still going to her dad? Because her dad didn't help her the first time around. And it's like, oh.
So one thing I really like about this movie is not a straight narrative per se. Mm-hmm. It has a very simple narrative to hang everything the director wants to do on it. The narrative we already explained. It's very simple. He has a problem with $100,000. She needs to help him come up with $100,000. That's it. And there's a ticking clock element because he's giving her 20 minutes. It's kind of an artificial ticking clock because he's he has to meet his boss. So I guess that's kind of where it comes from. But there's a ticking clock element to it. And that's where all the stakes come from. And it's a very, like you said, it's a very frenetic movie. There's a lot of motion. And the lead actress with the shocking red hair.
I love it.
She's very good in it, especially in the moments when she's allowed to be still. But she's very good at the frantic running and everything too. But one of the things I really like about the movie is it's not a narrative per se, because it does, like I said, tell that simple narrative, but it's really an idea movie. Like, it's clear the director had an idea. I want to film something that demonstrates the butterfly effect, essentially. Like how little changes can make huge differences in people's lives, even when you wouldn't necessarily think it is. And that's kind of the idea behind this movie.
So you look at this movie and think butterfly effect.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking it's more like that, like theory, like string theory, physics, where there are different dimensions where, like, if you die in one timeline, then you continue in the next timeline, that kind of the restarting.
Yeah. I do. I think that's part of it too. That's maybe, I don't know. This film is very well made. I like it a lot. I think it's done. It's on kind of a shoestring budget, but I think that there's a lot of technical mastery to it. So I don't want to say necessarily that idea is too heady for the director, because he very may well have had that in mind. I think that's part of it too. It's called quantum immortality. It's the theory of quantum immortality, which is basically that if there is any percentage odd, because the theory of a multiverse where there's an infinite number of realities coexisting at the same time, if there's any way for you to survive something, you will in at least one of them. And your consciousness can really only exist in one at a time, I guess, or whatever. I don't know exactly how they put it. Or you can only be conscious of one at a time. Mm-hmm. So, in the one you're conscious of, you will survive everything, basically. So that's kind of the theory, and I think that probably does play a factor here too. But I think very clearly the butterfly effect is a thing because each time there's a slight change in what's going on. The first time, she's scared by the dog, and then she, runs past it. The second time, the guy intentionally trips her, and she falls and hurts her ankle, and so she's slower, and everything that she does is slowed down. She gets to places later than she does in the first run, and then in the third run, she jumps over the dog and completely avoids everything.
And she's faster.
And she also basically asks God for help, too, at one point. I guess she has the time to think of that. But there are several things that change. I don't know that I can necessarily remember or even have noticed all of them. This is a movie I maybe want to watch again.
Oh, yeah.
But there are different times, and I think this is a really nice artistic touch, too, because just visually, this movie is very visual. It films a visual medium, and this director does a very good job of visually telling us what's going on without any dialogue having to be spoken. There's not a ton of dialogue in this movie. But she runs into a few different people in each of the three iterations, and we see this snapshot, like photographs of what their future is going to be in this timeline because things happened in this way. And sometimes it's tragic. Sometimes, people have died or killed themselves or whatever. And then those same people sometimes they go up and end up marrying somebody or like finding love or whatever just because some slight thing changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very interesting, and I love like the look they do like an animation too when she's running down the stairs. That's cool. Like there are so many different visual aspects of this.
Yeah, he does play in, there's some black and white too at some point. He does play in a lot of different kind of mediums. It's like almost like he's throwing the kitchen sink at us of ideas of like, I put some animation here, put some slow motion here, put some flash frame here, and but it all works in service of the story. Film is, if nothing else, a realm for ideas and experimentation. And watching something like this, like I said, I got whiplash from watching Austin Powers, the most paint by numbers, recycle every joke from the first movie, beat by beat. We've seen it before, like comedy sequel. From that to this.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even seem like they're the same art form. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and I want more movies like this. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sick of seeing the same things over and over.
And it didn't, like, it being German, I mean, like you said, I kind of understood more of it probably than you did. But even, like, the stuff I didn't understand and everything, I didn't even notice, really, Mm-hmm. Like, I was so immersed in the story that the language barrier just disappeared.
And also, like, there was so much context because it's so visual. I think that helps.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not like they were sitting down having a conversation over coffee or something.
What did you think? So, what was your favorite iteration, I guess?
Well, I mean, the one where they, like, live and get their happily ever after.
Even though that the guy maybe, like, maybe she's better off without him.
Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, he's, like, in the criminal underworld and shit like that.
So is she.
Kind of.
She was part of the plan.
Yeah, she was going to pick him up or whatever, but it's more like a supporting your guy kind of thing. I don't get the sense that she's also a criminal. I think she's just in love with this guy.
Okay. If you say so. I definitely got the sense she was also a criminal.
I do like that not everyone, like that the last one wasn't just all happy. Mm-hmm. Because there's a guy on a bike, and in the first one, he gets beaten up, but then he falls in love with the nurse that nurses him back to health. They get married, they're happy and everything. And then in the second one, he's like destitute on the street or whatever. The third one, I don't remember. I think he's just fine or whatever. But like he doesn't get his big happy ending in the third one. But also, if we're going by the quantum immortality thing, one of his consciousnesses does experience that.
Right.
One woman kills herself in one, and then in another one, she
wins the lottery.
No, that's the old woman. The old woman loses her baby in one.
Yeah,
and then kidnaps another baby, but gets like arrested or whatever. But then in the second one, she wins the lottery. In the third one, she finds God.
Okay.
And gives her life over to God and stops drinking and stuff like that. So like that's kind of probably like the best thing for her because she gets spiritual and emotional fulfillment.
Well, I only cared really about the main characters as far as like being invested in how they turned out. So that's why I'm going with option. C.
Yeah, I understand. It kind of made me obsessively think about roulette for a second though, because in the third one, like we said, she stops and kind of says to God, like, "Hey, give me a sign" or whatever, and God's like, she turns around, she sees a casino because she needs $100,000, so she has like $99.80 or something like that. And she's like, "Come on, just help me out. I need a $100 chip or whatever." So the cashier gives her a $100 chip at this fancy European casino, where the roulette dealer, the croupier, has a little like what do you want to call it, like a rake or a shovel or whatever that he pushes the chips towards people. It's very fancy. They don't have that in casinos in the United States. So you just have to use your hands. But she goes and she bets $100 on 20. Now, for those of you that don't know, you get paid 35 to 1 at roulette on one number straight up. So she wins, comes up 20, and she gets the $3,500 plus the $100 that she had bet originally. Right. So she has $3,600, which she once again bets on 20. and then she wins like $128,000 because that's what 35 to 1 is. So all you need to do to go from $100 to $100,000, over $100,000, is get a number twice and parlay.
Oh yeah, all you have to do.
And I was thinking, I was like, I mean, obviously the odds are greater than 1 in 100,000 because if they weren't, then you could beat the casino very easily. But I don't know. Do you think you'd have the balls to do that? Let's say you had the balls to go in there with $100 to go into the casino and be like, hey. I've gone into a casino before and spent $100.
Sure.
Instead of like, you know, like going to a slot machine or being at a table for a long time or whatever, I'm just going to go to the roulette wheel and put it on one number, and you know, in a few seconds we'll know if I'm up or if I've lost. And you hit the number and you have $3,600 in front of you. Would you have the guts to put all that on one number?
I absolutely don't even need to think about it. No, I would not. I would take that money and run. But I know you could do it. I'm sure you could, couldn't you?
I don't know. I don't know if I could. Because, I mean, if you won the first time, rationally, like, if you're thinking completely logically with no emotion, you now have a 1 in 30... Well, if you're playing it depends on if you're playing a European wheel with 1 0 or American wheel with 2 zeros. Let's say American wheel, because those odds are worse. You have a 1 in 38 chance of converting $100 into $100,000. That's way better than the lottery.
No, you have a 1 in 38 chance of converting $100 into $3,600, and then you have a 1 in 38 chance of converting $3,600 into over $100,000.
Correct. But what I'm saying is, after the first time, if you hit, then at that point, you have a 1 in 38 chance.
Right. But still.
But you have to risk $3,600 to do it.
You got to do it twice. So it's
Yes.
not as simple as a 1 in 38 chance.
No, it's a 1 in 38 chance times a 1 in 38 chance, which makes it over 100,000 because, like I said, it has to be. Yeah. I don't know exactly what the odds are, but it has to be. Because the odds have to be in the casino's favor or the game wouldn't exist.
But yeah, I absolutely would not have done that, no.
Crazy, though. But she uses her superpower. In all 3 iterations, she has a superpower of screaming really loud and being able to break things.
Yeah, that's weird, too. I mean, that kind of gives us a hint right there that, like, we're not in our universe. We're not in our world, necessarily.
Yeah, like, well, I think that, like, it's... That's the other thing, too. I think it's symbolic of something, but I don't know what. I feel like it has something to do with like the emotion inside of her, or something to do with her strength, or what. I would have to watch this movie more times to figure it out. But I feel like that scream is symbolic of something.
Sure,
it's not just for nothing. It means something. Like she's able to harness like all of her power. And like I said, there are religious overtones in this movie. She asks God for help. The one lady turns to God. There's a lady in the third one too that lets Manny have her little phone card for the payphone, and she stops him in every iteration. She stops him and she says, "Wait," but in the third one, she stops him at the right time and says, "Wait," for him to see the bum riding a bike by and being like, he's got my fucking money, and he runs him down and gets the money back. So not only did he get the money back, but she also has $128,000 now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. So they're rich.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, 128,000 marks.
Yes.
German marks. Deutschmarks. But yeah. What was your favorite, like, scene or your favorite element of the movie?
My favorite scene or element?
Yeah.
I don't know, like I hated the scenes with her dad. I hated everything about them. I didn't like those.
Her dad was a piece of shit. And apparently not her real dad.
Right. I don't know.
But
I don't have a favorite.
He's like, what I think is hilarious is he's also not the real dad of the baby that he's been pregnant. Like his mistress is pregnant.
Right.
But that's not his baby either, which he doesn't know in 2 of the realities. But in the third reality event, I think he's dead.
Why? I don't remember.
They get into a car accident. He and his buddy get into a car accident, and they look not good.
Yeah, I agree.
And she finds, this is another religious element of the movie. She finds his buddy in the back of an ambulance, and she grabs his hand and says, "I'll stay with you." And then he stabilizes. Like, he looks at her, he gathers strength or something from her, and then he stabilizes. But we don't know where her dad is. Her dad was also in that car accident. Mm-hmm. So presumably, I think he's dead. That's after that. That's when she gets out of the ambulance and does the spinning thing and asks God, and then that's when she's face to face with the casino.
That's another thing I like about the movie is how we have information that the characters don't as we get to the different segments.
I do think, that's everything about the movie is very interesting. I can't recommend it enough. I say go out and see it. What do you say, Carol?
Yeah, go see it, and then take a coffee break and see it again so you can figure this shit out that we haven't been able to.
Right, yeah. Like I said, I think this is a movie that takes multiple viewings because there is a lot. There are a lot of ideas. There are a lot of things going on in this movie.
Yeah.
But that is as we promised, short episode of the week. Carol, why don't you tell people where they can run through their lives 3 times in a row?
So you can write us at latefee1994@aol.com. Mm-hmm. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com and share the tapes with your friends.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.